Hi everyone, my name is Nick, and this is Max. We are co-founders of Graphit, and today we are back to talk about all things AI. Before we start, please follow us, like this video, and write all the comments so that we can keep spreading the word of AI.
We are diving into a topic that's reshaping industries, how AI is changing retail and logistics. Today we will talk about personalized shopping experience, supply chain optimization, and warehouses that are run completely by robots. And the coolest thing is that it is not the future, it is actually happening now. And we will talk about use cases, about the future of technologies, and about limitations it brings.
And the numbers prove it. 98% of logistics leaders say that AI is the technology of the future for their industry, and the AI-powered retail market is projected to grow from 5 billion to over 31 billion by 2028.
Before we start with the AI, we actually should talk about the challenges industry facing, and especially given the supply chain disruptions which started with COVID and still didn't stop. There are a lot of those. What do you think are the main challenges in retail right now?
So I think the main challenges surrounding the logistics industry is something that you identified very well, is around supply chain. And hence there is a kind of a big intersection between logistics and retail. But the main challenges are very much, they've kind of remained the same for a very long time. They just exacerbated over time. We are talking more specifically is that there is a highly competitive landscape where there is very difficult to, since a lot of every subsection of retail companies are selling similar products in their own verticals, and it is very difficult to differentiate themselves. Margins are razor thin. We're talking about 3 to 4% for main street retailers, like Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's line, and with this line of business, with with fashion retailers being a bit on the higher end of that, but still we're not talking about like the greatest margins of this. And any disruption to supply chain, for that matter, they only squeeze this even further. So and with the COVID, war in Ukraine. Then we're talking about the trade wars that are going on right now. The landscape for retailers is becoming very even more difficult. One of the and some other kind of major um, challenges they face are oftentimes around increasing, fighting for those customers, increasing this average check at checkout basically. And that's why when we're talking about AI applications more specifically, they should be in many cases target both the revenue side of things and the cost side of things.
And to add to that, actually, it's quite interesting since there are big problems on the supply chain, but at the same time, customers want better quality of services from retailers than they ever wanted, and those requirements skyrocketed. Basically, everyone wants everything fast, cheap, and of high quality, and everyone wants their services to be personalized. And a lot of retailers struggle with those days. But and in what way retailers are using AI today to tackle those challenges?
So this is actually, I think, a very interesting question and discussion that it keeps happening. There is multiple use cases around that retailers are exploring right now. I think another important point to kind of raise here is that traditionally tech is not the core of retail business. It's now became a big and a major part of it, but it's not the core. The core is to sell, the products that are available on the shelf. The core is to supply those products to the right locations and the right time, which brings me to points where AI and different types of AI, for that matter, could be very useful for retail. And more specifically, we can talk about things like predictive analytics to forecast demand for products. We're talking about things such as stock out optimization, so ensuring that there is, in a sense, a just-in-time kind of supply of products into stores. Where if you want to go and buy a bottle of Coke in the store, you actually want to see it and you want to grab it and you want kind of to um, uh, you know buy it. So the main idea is the retailer has to the all technology that the retailer uses has to enable their main function is to sell the products on shelf. And I think something that you've been engaged with pretty much over the past couple of months is the other side of automation. I would also kind of be very interested to hear your views on this, which is more about the online shopping experience and like improving user interaction and increasing user engagement with platforms. So can you tell a bit more about this, probably?
Yeah, so we've been working with a major retailer to help them bring a more personalized user journey to life, specifically for their e-commerce unit. And we see e-commerce becoming a more and more important part of every retailer now. And what's happening is that right now, with the help of modern AI, you can help users to engage conversationally and basically have a shopping assistant, which is like personal shopping assistant for each of your online users, which wasn't possible before. And right now what we are doing is building a tool that when users ask a question, and just any type of the question, it might be, i I want to prepare a breakfast, I want to buy a present for my mom, whatever. And the AI would find the most would talk with users, like, so for instance, what do you want to eat for breakfast? Do you eat meat? Do you not eat meat? And then it will discuss it further. This clarifies the requirements and just create a shopping list, or the list of items which person is looking for, which person might be buying now to eat the breakfast, or to buy to organize a birthday party, for instance. And it creates this like more intimate link between the users or the customers of a retailer and with actual shopping experience, making them come back.
So it sounds like something that actually, spurs loyalty for customers as well. But it another big point I think that is important here is that it can also not on. I think it's not only about the customer experience in that sense, but it also gives a direct opportunity to upsell products, right? To clients, when they kind of search for items, and it can suggest some more stuff here. Is this something that is also
Yeah,
available?
totally. It's actually one of the largest commercial impact of such a tool you are seeing fast. So it's connects to the more traditional recommendations engines which a lot of retailers have these days. And AI uses it further through in the conversation it has with a person. So for instance, if a person was looking for an alcohol for a party, it will or once it will figure out this person is organizing a birthday party and looking for something, for instance, a cake to the party. AI will talk to it, or maybe you need to buy also balloons. It would make your party cooler, or maybe you need to buy candles for your cake. And combining these recommendations with actual shopping experience and justification for why you need these products makes those recommendations a lot more efficient. And actually, a lot of major retailers are already implementing this. If you go to Amazon or to eBay, Amazon has this bot Rufus, which is actually really cool, with which you can already talk about your shopping. And AI is changing the medium of how people interact with everything, and retail would be definitely a big part of it.
Yeah, no, I think this is it's a very interesting point here, and I think another big use case here is that they are simplifying the decision fatigue, if you can call it like this, simplifying the my biggest nightmare when I personally go to any store is that, oh, how do I pick between two identical green pair of trousers or something like this, or between how do I pick between Coke and Pepsi, So like I think this is the question that people keeps asking themselves for the last 100 years, and yeah. So do you? How does that? Is there anything more specific you can say about how it helps to kind of recommend stuff to people? Like, how does it, know you as a customer?
Oh, that's very true. The decision fatigue is a very big problem, especially in e-commerce. Like I remember a pain story from my life, and I was choosing the microwave for 1 hour, and exactly that's one of the big things with which AI helps. It like can narrow down what you exactly need, like talk to you through requirements, because most of people wouldn't care about most of requirements or most of characteristics that the things they're buying has, but they will just compare items on them just because this information is available, and it will make shopping experience last forever for some items and make it very long. And what AI will do, it will help you clarify what you exactly need, and then it will recommend you few items, or like 3 to 5 items, not more, which would be the most relevant to you, and you don't really need to check anything else. And if it's not relevant to you, you say, oh, help me find something that works faster, or that is cheaper. And yeah, and the beauty is that this system will learn over time. So the more people talk with it, the more you as a person talk with it. AI can pick up your what you like, what you don't like, something you are looking for, and personalize the
like your
suggestions.
feelings even, yeah. Yeah, student's gonna tell you, student's gonna it can drive the way you feel, maybe. But also one thing I wanted to ask you here is, but does degree of personalization varies depending on what kind of depending on the scale of the number of products or number of things we're dealing with. Let's say a retailer like Tesco, or someone like Curry's, or like John Lewis. They sell a lot of different types of items, right? Spanning like different sections from beauty all the way, to groceries and stuff like this. Does it vary the kind of the quality, not only the quality but also the degree of personalization and how much you can actually personalize it towards a customer, from someone who sells a very wide range of products towards someone who sells just beauty products, or someone that sells like a fashion brand that makes their own clothes and sells it and sells only their own clothes, with a much more limited number of items.
Yeah, that's actually very interesting, because this application, even though a lot of retailers would use it and all of them need it, it would look very different between different types of retailers, and particularly for different kinds of specialized retailers. So if for the grocery retailer, it would just help you find a lot of products fast, and help you basically choose what you need a lot faster, but you wouldn't need a lot of discussions to choose the food. Then on the other hand, for skincare, or if you're buying a car, AI would need to know a lot more about the products themselves. So there are a lot of less transactions happening, and and it acts a lot more, and the buying journey is a lot longer. So it acts a lot more as an advisor trying to find you best product. And what it would imply is that, for instance, for skincare, what would happen is you might have AI talking with a person about their own skin problems, and then choosing the most relevant product. So essentially, you're moving from this only sales assistant, which knows only about products you serve, to the specific shopping assistant, which would be tailored specifically to each retailer, to know about problems people face in their industry and why people buy what they sell, basically.
And which probably, from what you're saying, it brings us to a question of data, right? In many ways. And would you say that, can those kind of solutions collect additional data, that can drive other aspects, like maybe more tailored marketing campaigns and, like simplify marketing, make sure that you can, target the right customers? Is this something that is available with those kind of solutions?
Oh yes, that would be a very big part of this, particularly marketing, as you said. And one more interesting one is product design.
Mhm.
So because with people searching through items and talking to AI in a conversational manner, you would see actually what are the thinking behind their searches. Because if they are just searching for items on your website, you usually don't know why they are doing it, or you have some ideas, but it's hard for you to discover when they searching for something because of some, let's say, niche problem or newly arising problem. And but with AI it's possible, and you would know who has which problems, and why they're searching for things, and that helps you a lot with marketing. But at the same time, you would know who has which problems and why they're searching for things. And if you don't have perfect product, you can design product around those problems, or even adjust your existing products to target those specific problems better to win the competition.
So in a sense, you're saying that a lot of manufacturers and retailers, they can get access. They finally kind of get access to the invaluable data that is very difficult to collect through other means, right? Like like focus groups and like questionnaires and stuff like this, just due to the kind of the limited kind of reach that it could target, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty much. And before all of those focus groups and questionnaires, they're a bit of artificial. So product design was based either on like people knowing some problem or having some hypothesis. For instance, people want to eat healthier, so we would do a healthy soda, or people would um, and people would go to their customers or to the focus groups, as you said, and ask them about, oh, what do you think about this idea, or just manufacture a small batch and test it out and see how it goes. But specifically for something, but this is based a lot on experimentation. And what AI allows you to do, of course experimentation wouldn't go anywhere. A lot of things, the demand is created once you have those things available, right?
Yep.
But with AI you would have a lot more data driven approach for a big part of this figuring out things, because you would know precisely what people were looking for, and what's even more important, why they were looking for things. And if you know with people's problem, you might know what the solution would be, or what might be of interest for them.
Yeah, I mean, this is very interesting. I mean, another point that obviously all of these this particular use case we talk about is obviously from one of our most recent, customer engagement. But and obviously it's more around kind of conversational AI, solutions. So more leveraging generative AI. Are there any kind of applications beyond that? Maybe if we look more on the warehousing, on like logistical side of retail, because it's a very large and complex operation, that involves many something that we mentioned, like it involves very variables. Many of those are often could even be out of control for retailers, and that whenever anything goes not according to plan on one of the suppliers, that means that retailer gets hurt directly. um, is there any kind of any case studies, maybe, or any specific ways in which AI could help with that part of business beyond just the um, shopping experience?
Yeah, actually, Walmart has very interesting case, and what they do, and the warehousing is connected very much to what's happening in the front store, right? So it's very much connected to demand, and what they have is very advanced tool which helps you predict demand on all products they have in all locations.
No way.
Yeah,
That's pretty
for
crazy on Walmart
uh,
scale.
yeah, for which makes simulations for specific extraordinary shopping events. So, for instance, you have a Black Friday, and it would think of um, how many umbrellas you would sell in California for sunbathing, and having that, and having completely digitalized all of your supply chain in terms of where you have what and in what quantities and when it would arrive and from which supplier and how long does it take and so on. It makes them able to predict and then perfectly adjust their supply line to it, so they have the amount of products needed in the right time at the right place.
I mean, yeah, this actually sounds very incredible. At Walmart scale, this is like even small adjustment, it's like millions of dollars, in potential returns for the company. And also coming back to another topic you've mentioned in the beginning about um, which is very much related to warehousing and the supply chain of stuff of things, sort of things. When we're talking about robotization of the warehousing and supply chain. I recently read kind of very interesting case on probably what is one of the most innovative companies in the UK, being Ocado, which has completely robotized their warehouses. And I think personally, I think it's very impressive, because this is just the way we see, now the what we saw in the movies come true. Everything. Robots are right now entering the space. And how do you think that aligns kind of with kind of agendas of companies on AI, on robotization, and where do you see this going? Is this something that every retailer should do, or is this something that not everyone can dive into?
Mm. I think on the longer time frame, this is probably what everyone would go for, like complete large robotized warehouses. What I think is happening now, it's like hard for especially for small and medium retailers to build such technologies themselves. It takes a lot of investment and a lot of knowledge how to do it. So it's a little bit complex, and big retailers are all doing it. And but what I think the companies would be doing a lot, especially the small and medium ones, um, they should definitely go into more into the AI that is, or the technologies that are more software based. Those are like a lot faster and easier to implement, and then they bring you benefits very fast. So things like pricing algorithms, demand prediction, the conversational sales, they like a lot faster to implement than completely to rebuild your warehousing, and they also bring you benefits fast. Actually, in interesting case, also adjacent to retail, was published recently. One of real estate sales companies, actually a subsidiary of Christie's, the auction house.
Yep.
They launched a sales assistant for its property sale in Portugal. And what they are saying now is that it already 1 million of sales went through this bot, and they
That
find
could, by their standards, that could be one property.
I think they are selling in like properties between like 5 to 10 mil from what I saw. So it's already quite a few properties being sold, and they already call it an extreme success. And the beauty is that such technology is not very expensive, and it is the one that is possible to adapt for all retailers if they find the partners to implement it for them. And once they do, they see huge benefits of it.
And maybe let's step back on one of those topics you mentioned, being that it's very difficult to implement, like to invest into right hardware and technology general for small to medium sized retailers, right? I wanted to talk here a bit more about what they can do, right, in this particular time. Obviously they are not in the league, let's say, to compete with Ocado, because and for that matter, I don't think many of them are even looking there. I mean, they are looking to compete between themselves. And how do you think it can they can stand out? Something you mentioned was like integration and implementation of certain software stuff. And but what role does the data play here? And how important is it to kind of to adopt any of those to implement and roll out any of those software solutions, including AI driven ones? How important is the data aspect here?
Oh, data, especially in retail space, with a lot of data being present there, is core of it all. So you need a lot of high quality data, and you need all of it running smoothly to operate any AI that learns on what you are doing. So for something simple, you don't need much, like to optimize your some of your documents, how you fill maybe some contracts. You don't need data flows, but to understand where your products are, and how much of them are sold, and how to put the best price on them, and when to order, you need to have all the data in place.
And as some of our listeners could be the ones representing small and medium-sized retailers, where would you recommend them start? When talking about their data journey and their further AI implementation potentially. Where do they start, and what do they focus on more specifically in the beginning?
Yeah, so in the beginning, and to get most out of AI, and with a lot more to come, you need to get your fundamentals right, and it depends where you are, but the very first step is to figure out your data. And so what it basically means is to have everything digitally and readily available and all in one place in right format. So what you are selling, how much you are selling, like at what locations, where is it coming from. So you need all of this data centralized, and then and this brings value fast. Like you get a reporting on top of it, which helps with a lot of decisions making. But what's important also is once you have data figuring out AI, especially a lot of applications to start with them, it takes not a long time. It takes a long time to make them perfect, but to bring the AI to 80 to 90% accuracy, very often it might take you a month or 2 months, and you would see the benefits right away. So the most important thing would be to figure out your data foundations and then move up through the chain. So it begins with I would say AI value chain is pretty much you have the data, you do the reporting with it, then you do some basic predictions, and then you figure out the causality of the things. So all of those comes once you have data established.
Yeah, and this is actually a very important point here because even right today, I was talking with a potential client. They were literally. We started talking about how long does it take to roll out AI copilots for that matter, generally generative AI solutions and other AI applications inside business, and how expensive is it. And when I guided him through the whole process, he was very positively surprised because I think something that a lot of companies misunderstand on many occasions is exactly the fact that AI is available there. It is important to implement it, but it's also not as expensive and not as long to do if you do it right. So I definitely think this is a big thing to talk about. Is the data readiness and how to streamline your AI adoption as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and what's important, AI is not going anywhere, and so if you
100%.
build if you build some applications, but you build them on shaky foundations, you wouldn't be able to continue with it. But if you do everything properly, you would monetize it continuously, and with models only improving, and with you collecting more data, you would improve, and it will bring more and more benefits to your business.
I mean, this being said, what would be your main takeaways that listeners can take to on AI in retail and general digital transformation towards AI in retail?
So first, it's a focus on your foundations. AI is not going anywhere, and so you need to get your data right and start as soon as possible implementing it in your operations. Secondly, it is applicable for both back office with supply chain and for front operations with a lot larger extent of personalization and customer experience for your clients, and they will appreciate it a lot. And three, basically, it's a lot less expensive than a lot of people think, and it provides you fast return on investment usually, and competitive advantage in the field which is extremely competitive.
Well, yeah, and it also allows to maximize the margin because in such a competitive landscape when we live in a time of great unpredictability, an ability to predict at least part of your operation, ability to know how many customers you're going to have tomorrow, ability to know what they're going to buy, and predict those and maximize those, I think overall is the greatest advantage an industry, a company operating in such a competitive industry could have. Well, thank you very much, Max. That's it for today. Please follow us, please like, please comment, and see you soon.